ever felt like you live in two worlds? You're leading teams at a tech company by day, but at night, you're choreographing dance pieces. Or you're a venture capitalist who's also producing music. Or an engineer who performs opera. You're not alone, and you're not weird. Welcome to the Ampersand Manifesto, the podcast for people who make their mark in multiple fields. I'm Jessica Wan, and after 50 interviews with multi-passionate ampersands, I'm sharing the manifesto. Why we keep doing what we do, even when it's hard, and what it means for how we live, lead, and create. Before we dive in, I wanted to let you know about a couple of events I'm hosting this fall. On Sunday, October 5th, I'll be singing in a solo recital of art, song, and musical theater in Berkeley, California. The theme is The Moon and Me. Come celebrate the Mid-Autumn Moon Festival and hear songs about the moon and more from the 1800s, 1900s, and today. Go to jessicawan.com/events to RSVP. On Sunday, October 19th, we're hosting the Ampersand Summit, an in-person event in San Francisco that will bring together people who straddle multiple worlds to meet each other, share what we're working on, and talk openly about what it's like to lead a multi-passionate life. I'd like to extend a personal invitation to you. Learn more at theampersandmanifesto.com. There's a link at the top of the page to sign up for the event. I hope you can join us. When I started this podcast, there was a nagging question on my mind. Why do we keep doing what we do? Let's face it, it's a lot of work, not just to have one career, but two or more. Lots of people who spent their childhood years doing art, dance, music, sports, those dropped by the wayside when, quote-unquote, real life came along. For others, they've always identified as specialists. A lot of artists say they couldn't ever imagine being anything else other than an artist. And I respect that so much. And I personally have always found my own joy in straddling multiple worlds. After 50 interviews, I took a look at the themes that people talk about when asked, what fuels you to keep going? And when I say I took a look, it was an excavation. I went back and put insights into a huge Excel spreadsheet. And here were the 5 most common themes. Answer number 1 to why do we keep doing what we do? Passion. I mean, of course, this is one of the answers. Passion is a word that's thrown around everywhere. And with these kinds of words, I feel it's helpful to get a bit more granular about the definition. So here's Merriam-Webster's definition. Passion, a strong liking or desire for or devotion to some activity, object, or concept. That sounds about right. To me, passion is what fills your soul. It's what makes you come alive, to feel the finest version of yourself. In season 3, I had the honor of interviewing Rich Lyons, Chancellor of UC Berkeley and musician. He said, "Find what makes you feel most alive." This was his advice for young people. Talking to Rich, you can feel the energy that he feels when he's teaching, speaking in front of a crowd, or getting lost in the music that he loves. Passion drives every part of his life and his work. Answer number 2 to why do we keep doing what we do? We're lifelong learners, and we want to get the most out of our one wild and precious life, to quote Mary Oliver. This means playing to our fullest potential and following our curiosity, even if it doesn't become a serious endeavor. Ampersands don't seem to lack for hobbies. On the contrary, they're often the first to try something new and something they're not good at yet. In season 2, I talked with Christina Wallace, storyteller and entrepreneur. Christina is very impressive. And I remember she wrote in her bio that she identifies as a quote unquote mediocre endurance athlete. She wrote it, and I read it to introduce her on the show. One of the first things she said was that people often cut that part out. Look, ampersands are undeniably high achievers and often recovering perfectionists. And part of that journey is getting comfortable with not being good at everything. The process of learning requires you to not be good at first, to be in that beginner's mindset. And it seems like getting into that mindset is something that ampersands enjoy and are good at. Okay, so passion and lifelong learning. On to answer number 3, to why do we keep doing what we do? Service orientation. This is the through line for a lot of ampersands, with both their more traditional paid work as well as their creative or expressive work. When you dig deeper, there's often a root interest in giving back, contributing to the community, and providing unique value. In season 3, I talked with Craig Perry, recovery advocate, classical guitarist, and firefighter. I'm so inspired by the way Craig talks about his work and his motivation to do the things he does. He truly lives by his commitment to serving others. And not just as a firefighter and recovery advocate, where service is kind of inherently built into the job. I also found that the way Craig talks about music is all about service too. Music is a way of connecting people, a way of providing them with an outlet for peace and reflection, and also seeing his students make positive progress in their art form. Answer number 4 to why do we keep doing what we do? Variety leads to better outcomes. You might think that doing many things would drain us, but it doesn't. It fuels us. And when you get stuck, there's another place to go to do something productive. In season 4, I talked with Marianne Poon, financial advisor, piano teacher, and registered piano technician. She said, "Having another area of my life to go to prevents me from going down unnecessary rabbit holes." Put another way, a gift of the ampersand life is that it forces you to prioritize only the most important and impactful things in each area. So we're always moving forward in one world or another. I also think of guest Nika Mumchek, fitness instructor and sales enablement leader, who I interviewed in season 3. She reflected on her childhood and how she was the most energetic sibling in her family by far. And nowadays, she believes that balance is variety. So now we have passion, lifelong learning, service orientation, and variety leading to better outcomes. Let's wrap up with answer number 5 to why do we keep doing what we do? Being an ampersand is as much your identity as the roles you currently hold or have held. Now, this has been the most intriguing discovery of all. So many folks that I've interviewed have had their ampersands change and evolve over time. But at the core, they've always been an ampersand, having that ability and ongoing practice and dedication to play in multiple worlds. I think of Sid Mofia, who I interviewed in season 4. Sid was, in a previous iteration, a chemical engineer and actor. And now he's a capital architect and band leader. So many of the guests on our show have had their ampersands change, even in the past few years since I've interviewed them. And it's natural for that to happen as we grow and evolve as human beings and as our context shifts. As guest Dominic Lim said, your ampersands can and should change over time. Dom has been a singer, actor, a storyteller, and is now a published author with 2 novels. So there you have it, the synthesis of 50 interviews into 5 themes: passion, lifelong learning, service orientation, variety leading to better outcomes, and ampersand as an identity. A final parting thought. Maybe the answer to my question is actually very simple. Why wouldn't we keep doing what we're doing? It's who we are, and we must be who we are. This week, I invite you to ask yourself, what's your ampersand, and why do you keep going? I'd love to hear your answer. Leave me a voicemail at theampersandmanifesto.com/voicemail or shoot me an email at j@jessicawan.com. If you liked this show, share it with your friends and fellow ampersands, and make sure to hit the follow button to be notified when new episodes drop. It would mean the world to us if you took 2 minutes to rate and review the show. Just go to the main show page on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and look for the stars.